What's up YouTube, how's it going? It's Alex bringing you some fun free drum lessons. Don't forget, if you're going to like this video, smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Okay. Now for those of you who have been following, especially the beginners lessons, we're going to start looking at, we've done like offbeats on the snare drum, sort of syncopated 16th notes. We're now going to look at doing the same thing but with the bass drum. Okay, so we're going to be playing notes on the bass drum between the hi-hats, and we're going to look at sort of doing some doubles where you're playing one with the hi-hat and then another one on the upstroke of one. Okay, so there's a couple of little variations I'll show you, and then I'll just show you what you can do with some of them, and then you can take the ideas away and explore it and make up your own beats with them. Okay, so let's jump on the kit and I'll show you what I'm all talking about. Now the way it sticks. Okay, so the first bit I want to show you, it's kind of rocky and hip-hoppy and a bit funky as well, especially when you speed it up. So let's play it at sort of normal speed and then I'll break it down as we go. Okay, so on this one, what we're looking at is basically playing a bass drum in between these two hi-hats, okay? So you're going to hit this sort of pattern in between, okay? And now I'm putting it sort of on the playing, so this would be the and of 2, this would be on the up of 2, and then this would be beat 3. So we get 1 and 2 and 3, like that, and I'm going to carry on with our beat. In this case, we're putting a bass drum on beat number 3, no, sorry, the and of 3, and then the snare drum on number 4. Okay, so you get 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, quite nice, quite simple. Okay, so what you want to do, if you get a bit stuck on that, just practice doing the first half, which will be bass, tick, snare, tick, bass, tick. Okay, that's the little bit you want to get there. Tick, bass, tick. Okay, now you will be tempted, some of you, to sort of like try and follow your right foot with your right hand. You might end up doing this, or try and avoid that. Okay, so we're looking at exploring that gap in between the hi-hat with the bass drum. Okay, so your right hand is your metronome, okay, so that's going to stay consistent throughout the whole thing. Okay, so let's have a look at it one more time. Okay, what I'll do is just exaggerate that upstroke with your hi-hat. So I always tell other students is just imagine you've got another hi-hat up here and you're going to try and hit that at the same time as the bass drum, so you get this like that sort of thing. I was slightly over-exaggerated. Now you can take that same sort of idea and you can move that, I'll tell you what, we can move it just before the snare drum. So we're going to play a hi-hat, and then we're going to hit the bass drum on the upstroke, and then we're going to come down with our snare drum as well, which will give us like... we can actually put those two that we've done together, so we can put the bass drum in between, just before the snare drum, because that's obviously just after the hi-hat as well, and then we can put the one that we just did at the beginning, so we get this. Oh. Okay, a little dodgy snare at the end. I'm going to just go through this. I've got quite a few written down, so if you want the PDF files of that, that's no problem. I can send those over to you. And it's got about, I don't know, it's like 16 or 17 little variations that should get you going. What I'm going to try and look at now is playing a bass drum with the hi-hat, and then another one as you bring that hi-hat up, so you get beats like this. Okay, so now we're playing on the 1 and then the E 1. Okay, so we've got 1 E and 2 and 3 and 1 E and 2. Okay, we can carry on. We'll just put it every time. There you go. A bit slower. So we've got, that nice little, basically like a little double going on the bass drum. So that's quite a good exercise for developing the muscles as well. Now, if we were to take, what I'm going to do is I'll give you the idea, and I'm just going to take it back to the original idea. So we're always building on what we've already learned. Okay, so any Led Zeppelin fans, you might recognise this beat. It's basically like when the levee breaks. So if you need to check out that track. It's one of the most famous drum beats of all time. Possibly, I think it's the most sampled beat of all time as well, along with the Funky Drummer. And that one goes like this. There's a couple of extra snarey ghost notes in there, but I'm not going to worry about those. It's just about the bass drum. And this one's going to have that little double bass drum, but it's going to be on the and of 3 and the up of 3. So you get this. Bass, tick, snare, tick, bass, tick, bass, bass, tick. Okay, so we break that down. We've got the first bit, so we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and up, like that. So we've got that little double bass that I showed you, and then we come over the snare and then tick. So we get this. Like that. Speed it up. Okay, so that's a fairly famous beat. That's quite a good one to learn because obviously you're practicing 2 variations of 16th notes on the bass drum. Okay, and another one that you might recognise is this little beat here. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at now is we're looking at playing the 2 bass drums in a row again, but we're going to be starting on that note that's in between the hi-hats. So we're going to get this. Okay, so if I play, I'll just start off with the 1 bass drum and I'll slip it in between. So that'll be on the up of 2 and then on beat number 3. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and. So I'll play it one more time. Okay, so a second ago we were looking at doing this, and now we're looking at doing this. Okay, so we're going to hit the hi-hat on the note before, hit the bass drum and the other beat in between, and then we're going to hit the next bass drum and hi-hat together like that. Okay, now again, if I add that to what we were doing earlier, we'll get this beat, which is sort of a basic one of, I mean, you'll recognise it from loads of things, but it's quite well known. You must know Walk This Way by Aerosmith and Run DMC. So let's give this one a go, and that will be like this. Okay, so then we'll go in the middle, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and if I speed it up you get. Okay, so that's just a little basic breakdown of the different patterns, how it works in and around the 8th note. So you can have it in between, 1 on, 1 coming off. Or you can have 1 off coming onto the hi-hat, if that makes sense. Okay, so they're the only variations you can have, really, with the bass drum. And then if you can put them back to back. Mess around with those, and I'll come and talk to you. Okay, so I hope that helps, just gives you an insight of where to place the bass drums in and around the hi-hat, sometimes on, sometimes in between, and sometimes, well, it's going to be one of those 2 really. If you want some ideas, I have no problem like sending a PDF file like I mentioned earlier, and basically I hope that helps. And what we'll do in the next lessons, we'll look at is sort of like putting snare drums and bass drums and little combinations of those in and around the hi-hats, so syncopating it with 16th notes again. Okay, so apologies for not, doing this a bit earlier, but I've done it now, so I hope you can enjoy it. Alright guys, I'll catch you soon, don't forget to subscribe and all that lot, and I'll see you later. Cheers!